And you can sit or stand. Let's go ahead. Let's take a breath in, palms forward, and then pull back to open the chest, and a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. As you breathe out, tighten the belly, tighten the seat. And then let's just bring the arms to the sides, palms forward. And we'll do a side bend stretch with a reach up and to the center, and a side bend stretch with a reach up and to the center. And then from here, another breath in and a breath out. So seated or standing, go ahead and do the swimming stroke, pulling back firmly. Tighten the belly so the core is working, and this pull back for the upper back.
Really good volume, Lisa, today.
Oh, thank you. I did turn the volume all the way up. So
well, it's good.
If it's bad in the future, you can remind me. Let's reach overhead now, and then that reaching up, stretching, stretching. And again, whether you're seated or standing, really important stretching for the rib cage and the lungs. And then the hands down. And then however you are comfortable getting to a seated position, we might come down part way, and then if you're like have tender knees, tender hips, use your chair to help you. If not, just slowly lower to your chair. Okay, and we're going to come halfway forward in the chair, and I'm going to start with some core workout with some music. So let's go ahead. We're some music going. Hands to the knees and straighten the elbows. We're gonna curl in as you breathe out. Look towards your left. Look forward, up, and arch. Breathe out, curling up. Breathe in, up, and arch. And then to the front, bring your hands across your heart. And we're gonna do a circle. Side, come back, touch the chair, other side, and forward. And back, touching the chair, and to the front, and let's go the other way. Clench the belly. And one more. And with your feet flat and your knees out front, and then we're just going to come up, and we're going to do gentle knee lift and lower. Straighten the back so you feel your back muscles working, and we'll bring the hands up this way. So very gentle landing, soft, lots of muscular control. Now we'll add a twist as you lift the opposite knee and a twist. So you feel all of your back and stomach muscles working with the twist and the lift. And now the side bend and impulse. So 1 and 2, center, 1 and 2, center, 1, 2, center, and out. And reach, and center, and reach. Want to feel this, both the back and the stomach, center, and reach, reach, center, hands back here, scoot to the front edge of the chair, straight back, firm belly, and we'll sit back and come up, lean forward, and sit back, and lean forward, and then we'll change the hands, elbows wide, sit back, feel the stomach work a little harder, and forward, and sitting back, and lean forward. Now we're going to step around to the side, facing sideways, one hand on the chair, one hand on the back of the chair, grip the belly and lean back about 30 degrees, lift, straight, lift, and gently to the floor, a lift, straight, lift, gently down, lift, straight, lift, switch, other leg, straight, and sitting up, keep your hands in place, straight the front leg and out, in and touch your knees, trying to keep that lifted heart, straight back. Now we'll just bring it out, step to the center, flat back, lean down, curl up, unroll, and then wide shoulders, flat back, leaning down, tuck the chin, pull in the stomach, curl, and unroll. And let's go over to the other side. We'll just step around, and we're moving kind of fast. If anything bothers you, just skip that exercise. Have a stabilizing grip right behind your hip, the other hand on the back of the chair, and then that tightening of the belly, leaning back 30 degrees, so your belly's working to hold you there, and then we'll add a knee lift and straighten, and a knee lift and down, and we're going for that controlled, smooth, coordinated movement. Now, this knee doesn't straighten today, but ideally get your knees to straighten, but that gentle landing to the floor, and then we'll come up. So we've kept those muscles under tension for that period of time for strengthening and growth of the muscles. Then we'll straighten the front leg, straighten the back, hands can support you, and we'll just bring the leg out and in for that hip strengthening. And then we'll step to the front. And we'll take a breath in and a breath out. We'll circle back. And we're going to go ahead and get the wands if you have one. Now, I don't look at the list. If we have someone new here today, you don't need the wand, but it's a 42-inch dowel. And we just use them maybe once a month in class. So you want to get your wand. And we'll come back to a seated position in the chair. I will say, after this knee surgery, I'm very grateful for all my leg strength because I can get up and down real easily, kind of just using one leg. I would say that's a real advantage with staying strong. If you need something like that done, it's easier to move around. So because we're going to do the wands, and then we're going to do exercises where you could use hand weights, and they kind of go together because this will warm up the upper body. So let's go ahead. We'll bring the hands in here, and then hands are about shoulder width apart, and then tightening the stomach, we straighten and reach forward and give a little lift so the upper back.
It's in a meeting, but this is more.
Okay, and a reach forward, and a little lift, and back in. And a reach forward, and a lift. So getting that combination stomach and back, and both lower back and upper back. Just one moment here. Okay, and then we're gonna bring this in, pull the elbows back so you feel the squeeze between the shoulder blades, getting those important postural muscles. If you don't have a wand, you just bring your fists into your rib cage and pull the elbows back, and you get those same muscles. And then clench the belly, and we're gonna lift. Now, if your hips are okay, we'll lift and straighten. If you're having to be careful of a hip or a knee, you can just keep the knee bent. So it can be like this. If you're needing to be careful, and that gentle landing in case you have a toe problem, very gentle. If your joints, everything's okay, you can lift and straighten. For keeping the knee healthy, it's great to straighten all the way. It's actually the last 10 degrees of movement that fully get all your thigh muscles working. Okay, and then we'll just bring this down. And let's go to the upper body. A nice circle in this way, rotating, sliding, and gliding the shoulder joints. And then we'll put this on the ground. So you can see this is up along the inside of my upper arm. And I'm holding on, and then watching out for furniture, a backward circle behind you. Switch hands, and a backward circle on that side. And then we'll use this for reaching overhead. So if your shoulders, if you're not reaching overhead, just leave it here, or some side bends. Let's try that. So you can leave here. And as you did side bends, feel how your stomach muscles are all contracting. You get that motion in the back. If you're okay with overhead, we'll go overhead, and you feel the stomach muscles work somewhat harder. And you get more of a stretch on the side of the body. But the ribs and the lungs are getting stretched also. Okay, we're going to bring it down to the front. And then elbows stay straight, and we'll give a twist. This is this twisting motion that starts at the wrists and the elbows and all the way to the shoulder. Good preparation for using the weights to get that twisting movement, helping to keep those joints aligned and healthy. Okay, let's go ahead and bring it behind the back. And you need room, so you have to be about halfway forward in your chair to have room behind the back. And then I'm holding it with my hands. My palms are facing backwards toward the wall behind me. Then I'm going to press the elbows back to get this stretch in the front of the chest. So stretching those muscles that pull your shoulders forward and wreak havoc with your posture. As I do this, it pushes fairly firmly into my low back. So I'm going to contract the stomach and flatten the low back. So it becomes a core exercise also. Then I'm going to soften the arms so they're a little loose behind me and reach side to side. Going for a straight elbow if I can on each side. Rotating the shoulders in that reaching back kind of motion. And then I'm going to bring a hand to the center point bring that to the front. And another one to watch out for other people or furniture with straight arms. We're going to widen and pull back, and we'll change hands. Widen and pull back. And then we'll do that again on each side. Widen and pull back. Working on strengthening the upper back while you stretch in the front. A way to build endurance in the upper extremities is this circular motion, kind of like swimming, where you move the arms alternately, straighten the back, relax the neck by just slightly lowering the chin. And this, we're keeping the muscles under tension, building endurance. Tighten your stomach and pull in your urinary muscles. So a very good base. Check your knees and your feet that they're equally separated. So you want feet as wide as the hips, knees as wide as the hips. And then we'll change direction. So using different muscles. Circles, and you're kind of looking to feel a little bit of burn in the shoulders from that sustained movement. Keep your belly pulled in, keep the urinary muscles drawn up and in. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can reach the feet. Kind of a work on flexibility. Let's come to the waist. Let's come overhead. And let's come back to the waist. And then with this, the elbows out, back. So not out, but elbows back, and you can feel the difference in the upper back with that. And then we'll clench the belly, and we're going to turn and look behind. So twisting, looking back, and forward. So using the upper back and then the stomach muscles to rotate. And a turn, and forward, a turn, and forward, and a turn, and forward. And let's do a stretch, reaching out with the lift, and back in. And one more of those, out with the lift, and back in. Let's lay this down, and if you might have to come up on your toes to keep it there. And let's take the hands now to the front. We're going to open and close the hands, focusing on the opening as we do. Backward arm circle, both arms. And then we'll do backward shoulder circles. And then a face circle. So face forward, and as though your nose is drawing a circle on a blackboard, slowly circling for neck motion and to relax those muscles, and then the other direction. Okay. And let's do that with some music to work on that brain aspect where you move faster, paying close attention, and getting your body to respond more quickly, which is all part of, keeping the brain stimulated. Because such a large part of the brain is muscle control. If you work on moving the body, it really keeps the brain active. So we'll go to that. So we'll bring the wand here, elbows back, and we'll start with that stretch forward. And lean and lift. Back in. Lean and lift. Elbows go back. Lean, lift. And then we just leave it here. We'll lift and lower, doing that really gentle movement. Keeping your shoulders pulled back. And if you can straighten, we'll transition. You just do a knee lift. So this slow movement with a straight back takes a lot of strength. And then we'll here, let's do a big circle. A chance to breathe. And great movement for shoulder health. Another movement. Backward circle, watch out behind you. Other hand. And in. We're going to do our side bends. You can leave the wand here or go overhead. And we'll lean, really contracting in the stomach vessels to control the weight of your upper body. And to the front. And we'll twist. Elbows straight, or straight as they go. Looking for that twist in every joint of the wrist, fingers, the elbows, the shoulder. And now we'll go behind the back. And pull in the belly, press the elbows back. Get that great stretch. Soften the upper back, reach, and reach, and reach, and reach. Just come forward, back to the front. And we'll do our swim, straighten the back, let the chin fall a little bit so the neck is not tense. Let's switch the other direction. We'll go to the feet, to the waist, overhead, back to the waist, twist, back, twist, other side, and a twist, really powerful use of the abdomen and the back, and twist, front, and let's open, pull back, to the front, open, pull back, each side again, back, okay, to the front, nice, and then lean, and lift, lift, and spin the feet, let yourself relax, let your head dangle, waggle the head, and then go ahead and lift up, and we're going to trade our wands for weights. So we'll set these aside. So we're gonna make sure that your hands are correct. So the thumb wraps around towards your other fingers, and then we try to keep the wrists straight No bending at the wrist as we do the exercises. We want to stabilize the wrist and strengthen by keeping the wrist firmly straight. You do not have to have weights for these exercises. The arm movements are strengthening without the weights. But we like to sit. So you can sit however is best for you, grabbing onto your chair and sitting. If you want to go slowly to your chair, holding the weights right here, elbows in and at 90 degrees, that's strengthening your thighs using that weight for some extra resistance. But however you want to go down to do that, and then we'll come halfway forward in the chair. And I'm going to start with my weights out toward my knees, and we'll do something that's similar to what we did before. Lift the chest, shoulders back and down, and then contracting the stomach firmly, we're going to lift one knee and slowly down. So you could do this without weights, or you could skip this. The idea is that you have this little bit of extra resistance for more strengthening both in the thigh and the core, also the hip muscles, the muscles that lift your leg to the front. And a lift. And then we're going to keep the elbows bent at 90 degrees, and we're going to march opposite knee as we lift a weight. Now you really have to use the core muscles, because it's very tempting to hunch over because you no muscle work there in your core, but if you straighten up, there it is. And we're controlling that leg to land the foot very gently. And this is get the heart rate up, because using all the arm muscles, all the leg muscles, and all the core muscles. And then let's just drop the weights, and we'll do a side bend to one side. And then use your core muscles to straighten yourself up. And we'll do a side bend to the other side. And come up. And then scooting way to the front edge of the chair. We're going to bring the weights in this position and use your back muscles and your stomach muscles, tightening of those muscles to lower yourself back. And then we'll kind of reach back and then bring the weights forward. Your elbows stay bent. We'll come out and in, up and back, and then that pulling forward, and then slowly out and slowly in. Now, one thing to think about is clenching the belly with this. It helps protect the shoulders, and then out and forward and over the head and to the front and out and forward. Let's lower so the elbows are right at the sides, clench the belly, and we'll do a sit-up. Scoot back in the chair to where you're about halfway back in the chair, and we can rest these for a moment. Check in with your feet and knees. We need a good basis support for what we're going to do next. So feet and knees equally separated. And let's go ahead. We're going to bring the weights together if you have weights, or if you don't have weights, it's not a problem. Clench your belly, and we'll do this figure 8 type movement. And you can feel those stomach muscles, the effort in your stomach muscles with that figure 8. So mine's the 8 is lying on its side. And then coming back to the center, we'll punch, getting a wider range of muscles, back muscles also, to control that bit of a twist with the punch. Important the feet be firmly on the floor and separated, as well as the knees. And then we're going to just take one weight and hold on to each end of it. We'll circle the shoulders back and settle the shoulders back and down, and we're going to bring the weight halfway around the head, elbows toward the ceiling, and we'll push up toward the ceiling, straighten the elbows, slowly back behind the neck, and complete that circle to the front. It's like a halo movement. Let's go the other way. Around, the weight's behind the neck. Squeeze your elbows in so you can push straight up overhead and back down. Now this is one where as you go up and down to keep the wrists straight, and then we'll come around to the front. Some alternatives could be, if you can't reach back like that, is to just push up from the front of your body, or to skip this one. It's kind of demanding of the shoulders. Go back, squeeze the elbows in, overhead, fully straighten, and around to the front, and around to the other side. Squeeze elbows in, fully straighten, back behind the head, and then half circle to the front. Okay. Still just using one weight. We might widen the feet a little bit, and we're going to do a lawnmower move while we're seated. So we'll drop this hand to the side, reach down towards your ankle, and then it's the elbow toward the ceiling. A lift up and down. I guess it's up and back with the elbow. So working on the muscles that twist the trunk and the upper back muscle. Straight arm to the ankle, bent elbow up and back, and down and up, and let's switch hands to the ankle and a lift. So if you need help, you could put your hand on your thigh. If not, let your hand hang. So that's kind of a vigorous pull, and back down, the pull, and down, controlling the whole way, controlled release, and the pull up, and then we're gonna take both weights, rest for a moment. Let's go ahead, let's breathe out as we curl up. Breathe in as you straighten the back. Look up and arch. Breathe out, curling. Breathe in, arching. And now we just want to relax to the point of a straight back. We'll bring the knees in a little. We're going to drop the weights and lean forward about 30 degrees. So flat back and wide shoulders still. We're going to bend one elbow back and then the other elbow. The elbows, think of your elbow going back and up, not to the side, to get the muscles that we're targeting in the upper back. So the weight kind of comes toward the side of your ribs, and pull, and a pull. And then arms down, relax the neck. We're going to bend the elbow about 10 degrees. And we keep leaning forward, and we're going to lift one arm to the side and the other arm. So it's kind of the back of the shoulder, the upper back, a real good strengthener for better posture. Lift and a lift. Okay, we'll bring elbows to 90 degrees, and we'll sit back up. And we're gonna bring the legs into kind of our usual alignment. So now we're halfway forward in the chair. Feet and knees as wide as the hips. And we're gonna work on overhead. So, which is this type of movement. If you know you don't want to do that, you could do just halfway up. Just bend the weight, bend your elbow like this. So let's start with the easy one. We could do, and we're gonna do the leg on the same side. We're gonna go out and in. Other side, out and in. If you're okay going overhead, would be out and in, out and in. So you can adapt, or you can even change partway through to the easier one or the harder one. So let's go ahead and we'll do a few of these. This is our last exercise, kind of combining that important overhead reach movement with the legs, so the core gets involved and increases the heart rate and the push and down. And then let's go ahead and we'll put the weights down and we'll cool down and take some deep breaths before we go. This one arm, open and close. It's really spreading the fingers as we go around, and then the other arm. Fully opening and closing, going around, and then let's circle in the wrists one way, and then the other way. Okay, and then we're just gonna hold on to one side of the chair and lean your body away, and then let your head fall away. And let your head go forward and back to get a good stretch on the side of your neck. Come to the center, hold on to the other side, and let your body lean away so your arm anchors you. And the head really goes to the side and you get a nice stretch. And we'll come to the center and then palms forward and reach back, and we're going to do our 5 deep, vigorous breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Circle the shoulders back.